it happens to everyone, one way or the other. But let's say the fantasies that you have had that have called out this incubus succubus thing, you haven't closed them. And it is the same way people create, like, daydream, and they create their wanted reality. And same way we're just like, wouldn't it be wonderful if? And they're gonna dream about the best world possible, their wanted scenarios. What if the girl or the guy they like, they met with them, and what if that relationship happened? And we're gonna just spin various scenarios to please ourselves, just to wonder what if. But everything we spin and fantasize about is literally created in another like parallel reality. In another world, it has happened, and that is the way things are right now. But you have no idea how many fantasies you have for actually creating people and beings out there. And where it is sexual, and any of you can just, you can have a sex with a girl or a guy and just wonder, what if that other person was here? Man, fuck yeah. Or you can just be pleasing yourself and just spin a scenario you like just because it's fun. And you're still creating that reality. And it's all fine. It is okay. Enjoy yourself. There are no limits. It's not a taboo thing. You're not bad or wrong for doing it. But a lot of people unawareingly, it's like creating beings that, like us, wonder, where is my higher self? When they get in trouble, they look at you. You are the higher self. You're the creator. You're the God that created them. And you can just spin scenarios and create a bunch of beings, and you have no idea how many you have left without being unchecked. So let's say once you spin a fantasy and you please yourself, if that's where you're going, go into, okay, now I'm done, and that realm is erased. That is uncreated, and that is done. And you just finished your experience. You went from A to Z, and that was created, and now you undo it all. And so that is done. Because if you're like, that was fun, and you don't undo it or you uncreate it, that realm up to this day is still going. And if you are into sex, and you're creating various sexual scenarios, and a lot of us do, whoever is into, like, hey, I just like to please myself, and, like, whatever way you go, if people unfinish their scenarios or don't go with, okay, now I'm done and I'm gonna uncreate it all, that realm up to this day is still running. And if it's a sexual fantasy, everything that has happened will keep on happening again and again and again, and just wonder how many of these realms have you created that are still ongoing, that are still up to this day are draining your energy. And this is where people lose their libido. This is where people like, oh, I don't like feel the sexual urges anymore. I don't get a hard on anymore. I don't feel like I want to do this, because you're doing it like 20,000 times at once, and it's draining you. So it would be my personal recommendation to just go in and like, okay, that is like, that was fun. I'm just gonna uncreate it all, erase it, that's done. To not have your other aspects still used and messed with. It can be fun, it can be pleasurable, but it's gonna be story that will still keep on going again and again and again with what you create. It can be a specific time loop, and you're just stuck. You're just stuck in that place with that specific activity. And this goes for everyone, not a specific person I'm talking to, but everyone. So yeah, and Jay, if you have those fantasies, you can just think of like what made you summon or manifest these incubus succubus in your space. You can just sort of like, okay, I think I get where it all started. Then you sort of like go over it and think of, using an eraser and just ending it all off on creating it, because that will really help. And same with if they're still in your space, dealing with succubus and incubus, it's really good to find out why are you here. Because sometimes people have this deal. They feel like, oh, well, I get something and you get something. And some of us might like, okay, well, you can use my physical body and you can fuck with me, but you give me information, you give me the security, you give me the pleasure or whatever. And, it can go in lots of ways, but a lot of us are being messed with unawareingly, that we say, like, we allow them to be in our space because, hey, we agree. Like, I get this, you get that, and that's the thing. When you're saying stop, your deal still goes on because you haven't canceled it out. So you would need to look at things that are happening that you might not be aware of it, or even like lots of different methods. Like same thing, putting those beings in a box, looking at where it all starts, like the whole parse party thing where, you find, let's say, their name or how they make you feel, or this like incubus, succubus in my space from your perspective, what seems to be the problem, and you just go with the questioning things. But there's a lot of ways to acknowledge their beingness and just deal with them.